What's up, everybody? I am here at Faymeyer's Motorcycle World in Greenwood Village, Colorado, and I am about to take this Ducati Desert X out for a spin. I have never ridden a Desert X before, and I'm pretty darn excited about it. This thing is awesome. This is the dealer's demo bike, so it has a few upgrades. It's got a Leo Vince pipe on it. I believe it's got a race tune. So this should be one heck of a review. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start it up, get out on the road, get used to the bike a little bit, give my initial impressions, and then we'll pull off somewhere scenic and talk about the specs of this Ducati Desert X. Everybody ready to go? Let's do this. Oh man, listen to that sound. So with my motocross boots on, I cannot get my toes underneath the shift lever. It's set pretty low. But a very comfortable riding position for sure. It's got a really nice, comfortable seat on it. Kind of a dirt bike seat, but still comfortable. But standing up on the bike is incredibly comfortable. I'm 6'4". This bike is stock, no bar risers, no adjusted foot pegs or anything like that. And this is almost, I mean, I'm not almost, this is perfect for me. The power delivery is incredibly smooth. As is the engine braking, which is adjustable. We'll go over the menu options here in a little bit. So the way the dash works, you cannot change any of the settings while you're moving, unfortunately, but you can see here where it says setting menu. If I hit the mode button, it'll go to chrono and then back to setting. Those are your two choices. So when you're in setting menu, you push this to the right and that sets you up in your riding mode right there. One more click to the right: sport, touring, urban, enduro, rally. Okay, so I'm going to put it in enduro mode. For the power, you can choose low power, medium power, high power. We'll just go with medium. ABS, I'll leave the front on. Let's see, we'll do off-road, which you have off-road performance, off-road stability, and then road and stability. So we'll just go with off-road and stability. So your off-road performance is levels traction control 1, 2, and 3, and 4. When you go to 5, now you're in road. 6, 7, and then wet is 8. So I'm going to put it in 3. I'm going to leave that set. And like I said, standing on this bike is actually really comfortable. It feels very planted so far on the dirt here. I really like the seating position. When you're sitting, it's very smooth, or very comfortable, I should say. I am super impressed with the balance on this bike. I mean, it is very, very well balanced. I'm not even doing a mile an hour here. Wow. Impressive for sure. And then turning radius is really good too. I've got bar lock here. The tank doesn't get in the way of of leaning real far off the bike. Wow, very impressive. Well, I don't know what else to say except wow. This bike, I don't know what my expectations were for it, but whatever they were, they have been surpassed. This thing is absolutely freaking phenomenal. What a bike. I am so super impressed with this bike. Everything from the suspension to the balance point to the way the tank, the width of the tank and everything on it, to of course the motor. The motor is superb. Now this bike definitely has off-road chops, but when you're riding it, you know for sure that you are riding a Ducati, centered mostly around that 11-degree Testastrada motor that Ducati is so famous for. On the road, this thing has power for days. It has low-end torque and high-end horsepower. It pulls through the entire range of the RPMs and never really has a flat spot. The suspension is perfect for both the road and off-road. The steering damper on here appears to be top-notch. I did not get any steering head wobble at all while riding the bike, whether it be in corners or accelerating hard, braking hard, anything like that. So kudos on the steering damper. The quick shifter was very, very good. I don't know if it is superior to my KTM Super Duke, but it is certainly on par with it. There was a couple of times where it felt a little sticky. It seems like it likes a certain amount of throttle when you're using the quick shifter, but overall it was fantastic. And the really cool thing about this particular bike, when you hit that quick shifter, when the engine management system pulls that little bit of fuel from the motor to allow the quick shift to work, you get a very, very cool sounding brap out of the exhaust for just a second. Really, really nice. The TFT and the menu, a little bit tricky to figure out at first, but once you figure it out, it's very, very easy to use, very smooth, and pretty functional actually. I really like the dash. I like the big speedometer right in the center, and then you have kind of in smaller little pieces all the other pertinent information that you need. So I thought that was really, really a cool point as well. I want to find a few things to complain about with this bike because this is a review, right? And I don't want to just come out here and be a fanboy of the Ducati Desert X. But man, I cannot find anything to complain about except for the fact that the shifter in this particular position, I could not get my boot toe underneath the shift lever in the position it is sitting in now. Now it is adjustable, so I don't think that would be an issue. If this were my personal bike, I would adjust it to a higher level and I would have no issues whatsoever. But that's the only thing I can really pick on with this bike. The balance point is amazing. You can literally stop this bike and just stand up on it. It is so well balanced. I like to stand up while I'm riding, especially on a bike like this. And even though I'm 6'4", when I stood up on this, it was perfectly comfortable for me. There are no bar risers on this. This is factory, and it was so nice. I mean, perfect. The cockpit, there is a lot of room up here in the cockpit. So when you're sitting on the bike, even as a taller guy like myself, this is about where I'd be sitting if I was gonna sit and ride. My arms, I got a nice little bend in my elbows. I'm not reaching, but I'm not up to my chest either. And then one other thing that I really like is the cockpit is so roomy. So the TFT is way out front here, and the windscreen is even further up front. So for us taller guys, when you have the windscreen up close, like most bikes are, you still get hit with a ton of wind in the face, right? And it's a lot of buffeting. With this screen being so far forward on the bike, I had a lot of clearance and almost no buffeting on the road. Almost felt like I was riding my GS 1250 or maybe a sport bike. Very well wind protected, okay? The clutch works fantastic. The buttons are all in the right place. Nothing, I didn't find myself struggling to figure out what was going on the handlebars. Everything went really well with that. Now, the Desert X comes with a 21-inch front wheel, so you know it is intended for off-road use. Unfortunately, I was not able to ride it off-road on this test drive. One, I had limited time, and two, it's the beginning of April here in Colorado, so all of the trails out in the Western Mountains are still closed down or full of slop, muddy, what have you. So I wasn't able to do that, unfortunately. But there is a ton of information on this bike as far as off-road capability. We all know that it's capable off-road. But if you were gonna buy this as an adventure bike and you wanted to put miles on it, this stock seat is so comfortable. It's really quite amazing. I don't know how it would be with a passenger, but I think it would be okay. I found that I could sit up close to it. I could move back if I wanted a little bit wider area for my butt. And it was really comfortable. So the motor used in the Desert X here is an 11-degree Testastrada 937 cc motor. It has 110 horsepower at about 9,000 RPM and 68 pounds of torque at about 6,500 RPM. And when you're riding it, you can really feel it. You feel that torque reach its max power at about 6,500 RPM. It starts to drop off, but then you're getting close to your 9,000 RPM and you can feel that horsepower kick in as well. So it pulls from offline, off idle, all the way through 6th gear. Really nice, really nice. Okay, it comes with fantastic KYB suspension in both the front and the rear with 9.8 inches of travel in the front and 9.4 inches in the back. Fully adjustable, of course. You wouldn't expect anything else from a bike like this. Of course, it comes standard with Brembo brakes, 4-pot stoppers in the front, and 2 piston brake calipers in the rear. It has 11 inches of ground clearance and a 35.8 inch seat height. It has ride-by-wire throttle control. It rides like a dirt bike, has the power of a street bike, and the over-the-horizon capability of a larger adventure bike. It is really a perfect bike. I'm very scared that when I go bring this back, I'm just gonna tell them to, hey, just give me the keys, I'll write a check for it. Because it's that cool, man. It is that cool and that fun to ride, and it just really makes you feel good riding this bike. So we'll see. Hopefully I can avoid getting into that kind of trouble with my wife. I do have a habit of buying too many motorcycles. So, okay, so that's really about it for my review of the Ducati Desert X. I have not done an off-road review of it yet, but I plan to have that coming here shortly. This was mostly just a street review of the bike.
So thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please give me a great big thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for me, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I post new content on the channel. Thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you all out there on the road.